There's nothing past this.
Yeah. I'll leave it alone.
Did you ever have a conversation about the school bus routing? With anybody?
Yeah, that's gonna last till the river thing gets situated.
So it's a road.
That is so cool.
Because I saw,
That's what I was
He's got
told.
a, he's a, you know,
because I saw him come down, the road.
Yeah. I think they're.
But does he own that? or
There's four Wednesday morning, the rest of the driveway approach. And, for them, I guess, they're on board of it. They have a meeting with different county, they agree with it. Just as it was very nice. I like
Shut it down.
It doesn't work.
Just three.
I'm not bigger.
Yeah, probably Godzilla.
You gotta be 400.
You pay for that.
The little pen jar over.
Oh, yeah. By the window.
Like, okay, so there's a 350 standing out there, and there's a 480 standing over there. That's. Well, I thank you. For 450, so they stored it, she came in. 480. How much take you after 30? They're like, no, it's not my fault. Well,
It shows up where he gets.
yeah, well, it was, yeah, it pulled up. It was probably 20.
I was trying to find my figure, but I giving it away. Thank you.
I'd say trip like two cookies.
Would you pass these on to Mayor Roberts?
You got it. Down there, I'm dealing with it.
I get one.
No.
We don't know.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Not Rudy.
I'm sorry? Hang out, pretend to be a farmer. Too slow. Anything I can afford would be way too slow. So I'm pretty much done.
Do you have a form that we can declare these gifts?
Yeah, there's gold. Yes.
Hey there, how are you? Good. Fantastic. Yeah.
Up from the top. Oh, solar, other well past that. Wow. How many batteries?
Well, we have, 20 solar units, which are 5 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt hours. And 96 kilowatt. No. Actually, I'm doing this weekend.
Oh, yes.
It's designed to have 3 days of generators.
Thermal. I look at all this, I just, no matter how I try to. Yeah, well, this one. Oh, yeah.
So just getting it to poles sticking up there.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Every year. I appreciate it every year. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. There's, well, anything that's and the reason why it's not just different. Going forward, just take I don't want to put it in a great example. So, I mean, it would never push us. Because the cost of these plants are big. Yeah, you have to push or is it? I don't consider. If you want to talk about it, I know more about this. It's not.
Time being 7 o'clock, August 23rd, 2021. I'd like to call the regular scheduled council meeting to order. If you all please stand and face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and respect this flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. First item is public input. Anyone can speak on an agenda or a non-agenda item for a period of 3 minutes. The time may be extended by the consensus of council. I have two to speak tonight. Jamie Riggs. Riggle, I'm sorry.
Thank you for the opportunity, I'm sorry. Can you make sure it's on?
It sounds like it is, secondly.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak regarding the ongoing chin shop construction. Today, we were finally able to avert our driveway after months of dealing with this very car. My car bottoming out and while entering and exiting the driveway, countless water bottles and lunch papers thrown on the ground in front of our home, the lack of respect that the paving company has had for the front of our house. Just endless issues that we've had with unreliable paving. If the project is not near completion, it will most likely be another 6 months of construction. However, I'm here to speak about another issue, the guardrail which is being installed in front of our home. Upon leaving our house Saturday morning, we saw and informed for the first time the unnecessary length of the guardrail that is being installed in front of our home. In addition to the guardrail of the tributary, an additional 60 foot of the guardrail was laid out and is to be installed running parallel to our yard. After speaking with half the representative and then reviewing the issue with them, he agreed to move 15 feet of guardrail. However, the overall length of this railing is still unnecessary and not a good use of our taxpayers' dollars, will cause a major negative impact on the aesthetics and the value of our home. Our road has a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit posted, and the length of the guardrail is so needless. They are using a tech stop regulations, but our road is actually a county road. I would like to think that our county reps would be the ones to make the call on its lane. We were not notified of this being installed, which again impacts the beauty and the value of our home detrimentally. We hope that we can count on you, our elected officials, to have our backs on this issue and not allow this guardrail to be placed in front of our homes.
Daryl?
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to speak our piece. We did get a surprise on the guardrail. I walked out that morning and saw it laying out, and I'm like, I mean, it's like 60 foot longer than the previous guardrail that was on the previous bridge. And it's in front of our whole house. I mean, it's massive. It's going to be an eyesore, going to affect the value of our home. And also, we were in the plans and have already priced out buildings. We're planning on building a building in the front corner of our lot. We got an acre and a half. And it was going to back up to that creek, and we were going to come to the city and ask for another driveway. But I said, I kind of put it on hold because of construction, because you couldn't get materials in and out. And now this is going to be a problem for me in the future, not being able to get another driveway or build my building, my man cave. Y'all are playing. My man cave is full. But it does say here from Texas, they're going by Texas DOT. I talked to the engineer, and they're going off Texas regulations, and there are exceptions for the regulations that I found. Where the prescribed length of guard fence cannot be installed at a bridge due to an intervening access point such as an intersecting roadway or driveway, the length of the guard fence may be interrupted or reduced. The change in length is acceptable only in locations where the department must meet the obligation to provide access, and this access cannot be reasonably relocated, which it can be relocated. It's the way I want to build my barn. I can't get them. I'd have to take my whole brick columns out and my whole fence to get to this shop I'm planning on building. So I need advice, I need help to stop this, to figure out what a reasonable solution is, because I've already got the bids for the buildings. I haven't submitted for permits or anything. I'm kind of hoping the prices come down, which that may not happen. But it is in our future plans, and this is definitely a major impact on our. I told her today, I walked out and said, hey, I'm selling. I'm gonna leave.
There's not nothing on the agenda tonight, however, we'll respond to you in the next couple of days to see if there's a solution. Donna, you make a note
Yes,
to get with the engineering and Dale and get this up. Can you do that? Next item is staff and mayor and council report. Council don't have anything to report. Does anybody else got anything on there? Okay, Andrew, thank you.
I'd like to give a report on our request last meeting that you asked me. our council mayor to look at the situation at the drainage issue on Chin Chapel. And so that was on the 8th and the 9th. Jeff and I met that morning. We went out there and we looked at the situation and come to some very similar conclusions, what to do from our perspective. Now, mind you, we hadn't talked to the engineer or get a price or anything like that. So we met there and we had a good meeting. The Burns came out and talked to us. We talked to them about losing some wall possibly, or maybe not losing some wall. We talked about their bushes, Jim expressed the concern about the bushes that he was gonna lose and all this. And we navigated around that and just told him that if they did move them, they'd probably die, honestly. We could work around them and leave them, that'd be one thing. So I left and I believe Council Mayor left, we both had a good meeting. And that was, I think, fruitful. And at least Burns understood where we were coming from. He had expressed some concern about flooding his shop building there. And we could see that probably, just from the eye looking at it, it wasn't going to happen. And we talked about how the water comes in at angles and goes out at different angles and all the above things. We discussed that. And so we said our goodbyes and we left. And so the next day I was real busy for a day or so, but I had reached out to town engineer, Chris Harper. And so anyway, we're going to get back together somewhere next week. That was this last week. So anyway, we did reach back. And so, but not knowing to me, and this, when I found this out, Council Mayor put out an email to Donald Walsh, to Chris Hartley, and myself. And I wasn't privy to the email. I didn't know anything about it, which is fine in a sense, but it's not fine in the real sense. And so anyway, I wanted to be upfront, as I always like to do, right on the nose. So I can go through all the details how we got there, but the bottom line is, I didn't know, I was upset because he didn't consult me. Not that he got it, it's about me, it's about respect for the council, respect for our working together as a team in this thing. And I didn't get that. And so I confronted him by it. I said, look, Jeff, and I'm looking right at him. I think is what I said. I want this to be just between you and I. I want this, we can resolve this. This is not the way we want to play the game. We're not going to do this. So anyway, so I called him Monday. And so I asked him, I said, can you meet Tuesday? And he had a prior obligation Tuesday. And I said, okay, we got this up there. And I may be a little bit off on the timing when I call him again, but it's the same scenario. So anyway, as it went along, I met with the town engineer. He had also his cohort there with us. So this is when I found out about the email. Originally on, it was on Tuesday, as I recall. And so anyway, he had an email. He didn't have it with him. I have a copy of it here. And so he was telling me about the email. I said, well, gee whiz, that sounds pretty much what we both agreed on. I mean, I was not upset about it, but it's just, it's pretty much straightforward. So anyway, we did rock along there and talked, we did the whole thing. And he said, it started pouring down rain. He said, I need to go up to the town hall and meet with Donna here, our town administrator. And he said, why don't you come along? I said, okay. So we come up and we met here in the chamber. And so then this is when I first saw this letter. Well, I understand that I was supposed to have got a letter through my email account through the town. Well, I had some problems with it and I didn't get it, which is another issue, but we got that resolved, I believe. So I had Jeff and I were talking, I said, well, my email is dale@andrews@yahoo.com. So he was gonna send me one. I said, don't worry about it, I already got a copy here. And he said, I want to send you one. I said, okay. So anyway, he sent me a copy. Well, this was, to me, had already been discussed and put out of the way. Because, you know, I made my point, I want to be a team player, he's a team player. We're a team player on this council. That's what I ran. When I ran the council, we were going to be together, we're going to be cohesive, we're going to get along, and we're going to get things done. That's my way of life. Also, when I got the email from him, then on his copy that he sent me was something else that I had not seen, and it's still not on here. He not only sent me one, and Donna one, and the engineer one, but he also sent the Burnses and the Humphreys one. They're the people that have the property. Now, to me, that's really, really wrong. And I'll tell you why. Because you're getting way out ahead of the process. We've not gone to the engineer. He's not designed the thing like it is. He hasn't stored it, what it's going to cost. We don't know any of these details. But yet, they get this thing here, and when it spells it out, this is what we were kind of recommending to the engineer, and that's fine. But to send it out to our guys and ladies that are involved, they can take this and say, this is what I'm expecting. Well, I confronted him. I was really upset when he did this. And I called him. I said, Jeff, this is not right. This is wrong. The town is now in a very precarious situation as a council. The council hadn't seen this. You've not seen it. I hadn't seen it until after the meeting. Here's the problem. We're put in a situation now where the engineer has asked for a little more time to design it and rework it and restore it for money, what it's gonna cost. Then we need to bring it in here for discussion. You figure it out. You figure out what we're gonna go from, which way we're gonna go. Then, after that's decided, we'll either vote up or vote down. Then we will call the people in. They can have, before we have the say up and down, we'll have the people come in and give their input, then we'll vote on it. Then it'll be the right way to do it. Now, we're way out 20 yards ahead of us out here already in that. Well, I know some of you may not believe that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just wrong. But if I am, I apologize. If I don't, I damn sure stand with what I say. And it's wrong. I want to work together. I want to be a part of it. I don't need to be the Lone Ranger. I don't want to be that. That's what I got to say.
So can I, Mayor, is that okay, Brad? You talk?
Yeah.
I don't want to be interrupted or anything like that, or am I talking to 90% of the time I am. So Dale, could you read the title of that email, please, for us?
Sure.
And I also would like that email entered into the record for the town council meeting minutes. Go ahead, Dale, read it.
It says, to Dale Andrews.
No, the title of the email, not to its two, I'll tell you. What does it say?
Well, there's from, sent to, copy, subject. Action report on creek repair at 606 Jim Chapel.
I believe it says after action report.
Action report.
Action report?
That's what I said.
Okay, so here's the point. I said, we met out there on Tuesday because we know that people wanted this thing done. We heard them talk.
You bet.
We did. So we met out there on Tuesday, and thank goodness we did. And we came up with the same conclusions when we did. That letter there was a report to you on your Copper Canyon email, which everybody has, okay? And it amazes me, since I've been on this council, how often and how little our Copper Canyon emails, our official emails, are not used for official business. So I sent it to your Copper Canyon email. I can't help it if you didn't read your email or had problems. That's the first thing. The second thing is, so I had anything in that email that said, here's what we're gonna do, this is our proposal. What it says is that this is what we talked about. It's a review of what you and I and the Burnses sitting in their shed talked about. So it was recovery of the items that we talked about. That's all it was, okay? And you and I agreed on what, basically, you said tonight, what needs to be done. Now, we clearly know, and we discussed with the Burnses and we discussed with the Humphreys clearly, and we can ask them too, what, what they expect to have done. And they have nothing expecting to do, they just want us to move forward with the kind of process. And that's when I report back to you, back to Don, back to the engineer, of what we talked about from my perspective, and you just said tonight that it matches your perspective. So it wasn't backdooring, it wasn't a matter of backdooring, and once again, you said you're gonna keep this between us, and clearly you decided not to, that's okay. I'm explaining our position, my position, of why I sent that email. I waited till Friday, I waited 4 days till Friday to send an email out for you to have some activity and movement towards, and I was assuming I kept the group involved, the team that the mayor asked for, you, me, and the engineer, and Donna also. But I didn't have any proposal, didn't say anything about the school committee too, or nothing like that in the email. There's nothing in there like that. So you're misrepresenting what the email said, and as a report of what my perspective, what our meeting was.
Well, let's just do this.
Let's
just read it.
No, I think,
Excuse me, Mayor, may I speak just 1 second? One thing about it, Jeff, I didn't really get so much upset about the email. It was that you just included, you just bypassed everybody and went right straight to the vet. That's fine, but we needed to go to the engineer first. Not Donna, not the Burnses, it doesn't matter what we talk out there about. We have to wait till they actually get a document that we can look at, see what it's gonna cost, and then do something about it. Then it's gonna do it.
Clearly, we're gonna do that, but that's all right,
I'm with it. Bottom line, I understand your position, Jeff, I understand you as well. However, including the citizens and early on is not the proper protocol, I'm speaking. And it's, if this is internal until we vote on something, I do agree with that. So, we want to keep everybody informed that early on what is in the design stage or the draft stage is not something that needs to be set up.
Can I say something now?
Next item,
Can I say something now?
sure.
Because I can speak on. Good, okay. We informed the Burnses of everything in that email when we were sitting in their sheds. They already knew everything I wrote in that email. There's nothing new. That's my bottom line. Okay, I did not expose anything or anything like that or commit the town to anything.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
The only thing I say, and I'm only saying that this is what I told you right on the phone. If we're gonna do something, let's do it together as a team, not individuals, because you obviously set it to me too. So therefore I knew about it, but yet you included me in email. I understand. And I don't want to be on a hard knock with you. I want to get along with you, but I want to get along properly. And I want respect from the council, not from me. I want us all to get respect. And the way we do that, we earn it. Simple as that.
Thank you. Next item. Are there any other council comments on any other subject? Hearing none, we'll move to action and discussion items. First item for discussion and consideration is taking action regarding the first addendum of the solid waste recycling service contract between Allied Waste Systems Incorporated, DBA with Public Services of Louisville and the town of Copper Canyon. Council, any questions on this? I think you've seen the amendments. Would you like to speak or anything? Or are we ready?
No,
All good?
just here for questions about.
Okay. Any questions over Public Services tonight?
No, but I have a question or comment. Working with her on the issue. Last year we did cease and desist, just an item for us that we need to look at, I think, in the future. And I understand that.
There isn't one. I'm sorry. That's good. I'm not speaking.
Okay. That they don't do, Republic doesn't do cease and desist. So they actually do an outside contractor that does that. And I think it's a good deal for the environment, and I think it's a good deal for the people. And for those who aren't familiar with that operation, it's where you cook a turkey or whatever you're doing in your thing for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. And instead of throwing it grease or the back fence here in Copper Canyon or taking it somewhere else, which is actually, my experience has been at the other cities of Louisville, Highland Village, places that have it, that says this is for Louisville people only. So you're kind of breaking the law a little bit if you go to those places and dump your grease from your turkey truck. So my only point is, we need to look at that. I'm gonna propose that later on, probably next meeting or whatever, and look at that for holiday season.
That's already in the budget.
We have one?
It's in the budget for this year.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's good, but that's not in here, and that's why it's not in here, because they don't do it, so, all right.
Thank you. All right, council, I entertain a motion. For a motion to approve the contract for public services of Louisville.
I'll make the motion that we approve the contract with Republic as we found over in the past
I
meeting.
have a motion by the deputy mayor pro tem. I have a second by the mayor pro tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Motion carries. Next item is discussion consideration regarding ordinance 21-017, amending chapter 6 of the Health and Sanitation Code. Council, this is basically takes us straight to for the septic system ordinance to what TCEQ ordinance is. So it's not greater than what it is. It was the OSO officer that we had it where he would not allow a well on a property that was less than an acre with septic. I think this takes us back to TCEQ, less than 2 acres.
2 acres.
This takes us back to TCEQ rating regulations, and also that septic's allowed on up more than a half acre. A half acre would be the minimum that septic could be allowed. Any questions on that?
Well, my understanding on the half acre issue, if we get down to that small, is that has to be on city water.
Yes.
According to,
be a
because
well.
I had the conversation with our TCEQ lady.
You cannot have a well or and a septic on property less than an acre.
Less than an acre. So that's an important issue. And I don't know what's houses have well water here, not on city water. So do we have any in the town?
I just do cross timbers. But what it will allow, instead of the old 2, you have to have 2 acres, we'll go by the state, and
Sure.
TCEQ 1 acre. And the state already has a law out there for, you can have septic on a half acre. So we're just bringing ourselves into compliance.
Yeah. But do you know of anybody in the town that has well water and not city water at all? Do you know anybody at all?
Okay.
I don't know of anybody.
That's strictly well.
That's strictly well known city water. Okay. That's one right. You have a question.
Okay, no other questions on that. I entertain a motion. For a motion,
Motion that we accept ordinance 21-017, I mean, chapter 6 of the sanitation.
I have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Is there a second? I have a second by Councilmember Andrews. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion for future agendas. If you have something now or later, please give it to Donna. With that, I'm going to go into recess. The council will go into recess, time being 7:25, and we will reconvene into executive session in the back in 5 minutes.
Which one? Yeah. If you know, no, that's all right. I know what you were saying. Anyways, can't.
Yeah.
It's the guy, you know.
Yeah, oh, no, my mother is all the way
Okay, where are we going?
Yeah. Yeah, she does. She was one for her, she probably all. Yeah. It goes on the road. Yes, I do. So. That's what we thought is go over it and back to work on the way on.
Thank you.
No. So, you know. Yeah, no, it's gonna be.
Hi, Lynn. How are you? Good. Well, I know that I will accept that.
You can check, if you're really sure, I can.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's not that much of a worry about the procedure, semi, so.
Okay.
I just don't know.
You might be.
Yeah, good, but I don't know, so that.
I would verify.
So just want to let you know, I completely forgot about it. And then I'll send in my, application. I can try to see if I can get it.
Okay.
It's a long shot. I think I-
We did, I did all the exterior stuff. The lumber on it. And we did the background. That was really
Oh, I engineered it. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, it literally moves from one window to another. They kind of go down the street.
Maybe once I let the garage door look out for our neighbor's trees. You know? Once it goes up, that's the trees.
Yeah, we moved that tree.
I was just looking it up. Where is your creek in Texas?
It's on the north side of 661, between us and the Times.
Goes right down the side of
Even when Woodland was redone, they put in the one over here. And it was like, where's that?
And they're talking about doing it across the street.
They're talking about doing it on both sides of the road.
So.
And if they do it on the other side, there's gonna be trees in the way. Terrible reading system on it. It's really good. So hopefully they'll.
I studied. Like bananas,
She's already. She's, it has been absolute. Yeah, well, it's in the first instance. Just like the driver in the rock and delivers pork. He's gonna put a pipe in front of our house.
Let's go.
It's not for our house.
I said, well, I think it was still another John second.
Put it somewhere. Right. Well, the first thing, I should put it out here. Is that there's a porta farm in our house? Absolutely not.
It's funny, but it's not fun.
No, it wasn't fun.
See, I used to work on, I was working for Regions. That's a long time, because now the books
They said that, they were putting shoes for him.
Yeah.
No, that's.
Yes, so, when they move, they just go off the dirt, so you can't see it. It's been worse than this. Every time I come home, I'm so sick. I mean, We bought a new camper, this will get, so had a storage area. So I was kind of ready to load it up. I got it stuck in between the ditch. I was jammed like this, my brick falls, had 7 cars in the road. I mean, I was one day out, I clean you can't get around a bicycle. Somebody told me that they didn't
You're gonna make me miss my husband,
I feel like almost everybody's been. Anyway, at some point, it's just one thing. I thought it was yours. Okay. It's a personal choice. It's like, I mean, my parents keep friends for yeah. Best friend,
That's probably.
she lives on,
You own the road.
Very nice.
It's the next north south. Germany. Yeah, yes.
Raise your hand and then go down. Right here on the left, the west side.
Like a big white house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so much, she's on the left hand side. Mom's being on the That corner, down her road's like, your apartment, and her road's right here. This is Jernigan that goes up Really?
And you live in a large road, so it's Fort Worth, downtown.
Yes. Is that the steakhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got really, it looks some kind of cooking show. I mean, Jim. And then one that cooking show. He serves rabbit, a lot of rattlesnake, all kinds of.
It was really good.
He had all kinds of.
I love the way it was on somebody else's. Right, maybe, you know.
She was here.
I think I was going to the dog show with my dog.
They want to go red eyes.
It is dark out, but then all goes on the front. Crispy dinner. Scared of the baby bunny. Did you? Speaking out the road. Max came running. Right. I'm
Oh,
I was sleeping. I went there, yeah, I did therapy when I was living in my show. No, I think that, like, you need to help, please, Roger usually brings up a fun little message, and bring a little babies and like realize them into the bed. And then he'll run out and go get another and bring them in.
Don't try to save her.
Yeah, well, that's good, because I can't go around mom. So we can go out and have them take us to the nest, and then we have to put a big fence around the nest. Rabbit can get you, but Roger can.
So I know either that or I would love Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, we all. Oh, yeah. I'll open all night, push they can't.
And so we would just go and take you there.
And
So I got to know. And I what we do there, just like, be out there. And we, I'm always been really close to their people.
I have never seen one. They wanted the ranch a week ago, and they do, in their necks, like this long and stuff. And I had to
I was right by them. She came back. She came back. In the summer. And I always. This daughter is coming. And she.
Because they can reach out.
That's our ranch. He's in three, which is, north on the, and you north on the.
Three of them.
I'm from.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He called me.
Yeah, they're nice. Yes.
So, that was great.
They're very, not.
Yeah, oh, yeah, now, Jim, it was Jim Burns that took the video of that. Right down the street.
Yeah.
They drove all the way down there, right on
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, where all the ducks are.
Yeah, it's just really.
I'm on the little babies.
There you go, man.
Aw.
Okay, we looked off of.
Yeah, I know, oh, I was so loud.
I know, oh, it's Jefferson, you know. Be right on.
That's what we
I get so mad.
They are, they're He said, no, we were gonna do better. You don't like this conversation?
She walks in, she said, she's my son, I'm doing what I told her. I paid for.
We're not that one. But some of the big reason is.
Yeah, it's part of the producer contract.
This reminds me of her, she did, and it's pretty very chaos. go acres, you can't hold it. He had this picture, you know, thing, like, he's so big. He said, well, you got it. It's such a thing that it must be water. Yes, for the animals. And they said we brought that. They did like me all the time.
She walks by with her comes open. No, hold on a second. What are you doing? She said, fixing to do this. I said, oh, we call you.
You're gonna need this. Biggest market center.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Motion. The whole day was like that. It's like my co-pilot, yeah, you're not until anyway, but we got no problem. They will be here looking for him next month. You retiring with the last one? And this was it, and he said, you're on it.
You're on it. All right, I'm being 8:05, I'd like to reconvene in the open session. There's really no, just nothing to consider from executive session. However, I would like to instruct Donna, city administrator, to find if there's a firm that's out there, I've dealt with in the past, that does nothing but gas and oil regulation enforcement. And we would like to bring that person forward and see if they can help us enforce our gas and oil ordinances and do inspections as needed. If you would, we're moving this forward as much as we can. So,
Mayor and council, we're keeping up on this, and I want to
let you know that we'll be back at your next regular meeting in September with an additional report.
Gotcha.
So we asked our citizens if they hear or see anything like that or someone, we're trying to keep up with this best we can.
Yes. Good, council, I'm at 8:07.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Councilmember Mayor, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, all over.
Aye.
Unanimous vote, carries.